Oh, hey everybody. It is late night. What is it? It's almost 1 a.m. Pacific time. So, got some things to share tonight, and I want to do a little bit of a training because I realize that a lot of folks don't have money to invest. And it's kind of funny because I've been doing this for so long that I sometimes forget that, well, David, do you remember when you want to get involved with crypto and you didn't have any money? And what do I wish I knew today that I didn't know then? So we're gonna do a little training about what to do if you were like totally, completely like broke and can't participate. So I've got a little bit of an outline here, and let's get into it. All right. Oh, before I get into too far into this, I need to do my disclaimer thing. All right. So it's on the bottom. Wonder if that's good enough. It's late. Not legal advice. I think that's good enough. So, all right, we're just going to get into this. I got my outline here, so I'm going to try to stay on track because I don't want to be up till 5 in the morning like I was the other night. Or was it all afternoon? I don't remember. Okay, so methods of getting started with zero funds. Okay, so this is an appropriate little clip, though. See if this is you, then this episode is definitely for you. I love that. So, like, on my way to work today, I record a little video. It's not little, it's like 12 minutes in the mobile studio. And I want to talk about some stuff. And anyway, maybe I'll get around to posting that. Okay, so like if you go over to Coinbase, can we bring up Coinbase? Let's do this. Here, let's turn this on. Just give me a second here. We'll also look at the markets, and we'll review the bot stuff and things and what's going on a little bit later. All right, so let's turn this on. All right, let's bring up Coinbase. I didn't re-record this. I'm just bringing this in. So see this button up here? It says learn to learn, right? There's like crypto basics and stuff here. Let's see if it's in here. Beginner's guide. So there's all this free training, right? If you go over to Coinbase and set up an account, and I don't know if they do referral stuff anymore or not, but um, I need to check on that. But there's all this stuff that's here. But what they don't tell you, let's see if they got learn to earn. Yeah, subscribe. Hold on a second here. Earn to earn. See that came up there? Coinbase earn. All right, let's do there. Let's do that. Let's see what that has to say. That's not what I wanted to do. Put your crypto work. How earning works. No, 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 no. This is not what we want. Does learn to earn work on Coinbase? Here's a good question. Is an excellent learn to earn crypto program where you earn free crypto on Coinbase. All you need to do is take part in a sign up for the Coinbase account. Then you can start learning by watching videos and answering quiz questions. Okay. What they don't tell you is you can just retake the quiz questions till you get them right if you don't want to go through the training. But I suggest you go through um, the trainings. Here's another one: 10 best learn to earn crypto programs for 2023. All right, let's bring this up. So yeah, so here, what is this? This is a blog, coinly.io. And Coinbase, we can't. You're a U.S. citizen, so your freedoms have been interrupted. You can't do Binance, but maybe Binance US. CoinMarketCap has a learn to earn. Anyway, what does this mean? It means you go on and it's usually you get like $2 to $5 worth of cryptocurrency. And you're saying, well, yeah, David, but so what? What's so big about $5 worth of cryptocurrency, right? Raise your hand if you got that question. Well, last year I started with zero, and one of the other things is you can do trial funds. If you want to see what's so cool about it, let's show you what's so cool about it. So let's say where is it? Explore missions, $5. And let's change the date to you did a learn and earn on Coinbase. You set up an account. You did your thing, you did your learn to earn, you did a couple of them, you had like you got maybe $6 worth of whatever, and you sold it for USDT or something. And at the end of whatever this process is, you got $5, let's say in KuCoin that you transferred over with USDT or something, and you know, and you're not as skilled as I am, but maybe you take some of my training. Well, if you're like my son Matthew, you would probably end up completing mission one in like 3 days. But it took me 6 days. Start with $5. Real life results from last year. Actually, it was a six day cycle. It took me about 2 months to do this, but I went from zero to over five, actually almost $7,500, roughly halfway to mission 11, starting with $5 of trial funds. I did that personally last year. Yeah. So, you just need to know what to do. You need how to do it and all that sort of thing, right? And that's what this is all about, right? This is what this is all about. But before I knew how to do any of that sort of stuff, right? Um, let's just get rid of this here. Let's turn this off. Let's have a little conversation. Let me bring my outline up here. So there's just one method. I did not know about the learn to earn thing. I wish I would have thought of it. If you go over to KuCoin, and I got a referral thing, but I don't really make anything off it, but you get stuff. So whenever you're setting up an account, right? I've got a to-do list and stuff with referral links, but that's not what it's about. My suggestion to you is just go Google referrals, find somebody to get a referral from when you're setting up any kind of accounts, because you get benefits if you're referred versus just going to the website. Don't ask me why, just the way it is. Um, so anyway, will you make you won't make money off from affiliate stuff unless like you build up like, lots of folks, you do the recommendation thing, and then you might be able to make something with it. But this is really about like getting discounted fees, blah 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 blah. But no, if you go over there and you set up an account, they're gonna do stuff, right? Where they're going to like send you an email offering to give you like $5 of trial funds to try out futures. Okay. If you take them up on that, you've got like 5 or 10 days to trade with that money. And then they'll take the $5 back. Maybe it's 2 weeks. I don't know. They took mine back after 6 days, but I think I ignored the trial funds for a couple days first. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to prove that you can start with zero. Um, but anyway, they'll take that $5 back plus a percentage, like 40, 50% of your winnings. But if you totally like blow it up and you get liquidated, it's not a big deal. They don't come after you. It's trial funds, right? So that's another way of doing that. That one I've personally validated. I've also I haven't done too much of the learn to earn, but Diana, my partner, she's actually she does it all the time, and she's got a little portfolio growing with free stuff that's just growing in value. So that's kind of cool. If the markets are really dumping and everyone's horrible, the world's coming to an end stuff, that's a great time to do learn and earn, because that stuff is like really like degraded in value. Anyway, you could be strategic about it if you wanted to. I wouldn't worry about it because there's just so much you can do once you have it. Um, so you can get started with nothing. All right, but I want to talk a little bit about how I actually got started, because I didn't even think of that as an option. And I got started in 2016-ish, 2015, and I wasn't really doing very well financially at all. And I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? I came up with a game. Okay. So we spend money pretty much unconsciously today. So the game was, I call it the DDTC money game. So every time I'm about to spend money on something, I would ask myself, do I really need to spend money on this? So I did this, and I decided not to buy my foo coffee every morning, which is like almost $7 a day. So after my first week, what I did is I transferred the $7, or actually it was $6.80 some cents, whatever it was. I transferred it into a cryptocurrency account every time I made that decision. I didn't wait till I got home. I did it in that moment. I pulled out my phone and I just transferred the cash I was about to spend anyway. Boom. And that's as a game, right? If I was about to go spend something that was something I really didn't need, I asked myself, well, do I want to get involved with cryptocurrency or do I want this thing? Right. And anyway, long story short, I ended up having a couple $100 after a few weeks. I was kind of shocked. And I know all the accountant types that, they're using the special apps and, they optimize and they get through unsubscribing things. Yeah, do that. There's a bunch of them out there. Well, in fact, I'm using one right now. It's kind of cool. What am I using? Rocket Money. I thought it was kind of cool. I think Intuit's got one too, and there's several of them out there, and they're all highly rated. Go do your research, see what's best for you, try them all out. I found out that the Rocket Money thing I have like a lot of different accounts. I move money around all the time, so it misinterprets things. So I think that one's not going to work for me, but I want to try it out. It's pretty cool. But dial in your finances. Okay, excuse me. Um, Actually, I think I'm going to switch headsets because this is just like cooking my ears. These are my really expensive headsets. I'm just going to go to my other ones, which are way more comfortable. Plus, I think they look cooler. Yeah, that's better. So, yeah, those are like $150 headsets, and these are like I got these on sale at Guitar Center for $50, and I got like two or three of them. They're great, and they look cool. I think they look cool. So let's talk about something that I did during like 20 some years ago, 23 years ago. I hosted Cashflow games. It was based on Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a new revision out, and it's on audiobook now too. So if you have the opportunity to read that, it talks about what an asset is versus what a liability is. And I used to host Cashflow games. So these game boards were like $250 a board. And I ended up having like three of these boards and building teams. We did some pre-foreclosure transactions. Shout out to my friend Peter, friend for life. Just cool stuff. But we all learned something the hard way. In order to play the game of cash flow, you have to have a cash flow. A lot of folks haven't learned that yet. So here we are, all these people that want to become wealthy, and you just need other people's money. Oh, that's kind of hard. And then they have control. And I had some people that were playing that game and they end up getting sued because they didn't perform. Not me, but other people that were using other people's money, and it just turns into a mess. So crypto is kind of like, well, you can just build up from nothing. That's why I love it. It actually fits with freedom, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. The problem is your government is trying to stop you from having access unless you're already wealthy. That's called financial discrimination in my world. So I did a video on it. So go watch that video. It's out there on this channel on YouTube. Okay. I don't know if I broadcast it everywhere or not, but got something in my teeth. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you have to get control of your cash flow. If you don't have the cash flow, then you have to figure out how to get a cash flow. So a lot of folks are looking for the perfect job, the perfect career, all that sort of stuff. And depending who you are and what age you are, all this sort of stuff. I've had friends that went back to school in their 40s, right, and launched whole new careers. Shout out to Susan. I have influenced my kids to, if you don't know what to do with your life, then choose a trajectory, right? Okay. And just explore your options. But if you have a cash flow, this is the mistake most people make, is they immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Now, if you look behind me, you see a lot of stuff. It's fizzled out, right? Because I live in an apartment complex, we actually upgraded to a townhouse, right? And because we're kind of wrapping up being, Diana's wrapping up being a parent, kind of what that's about. And but it's cool. We have behind me is our kind of our multi-space, you know. And what we're doing is rather than investing money in lifestyle, we've been putting money away, especially during COVID when couldn't do anything anyway. We were putting money away into cryptocurrency investing, and all that sort of stuff. And I actually learned how to do it. There's a variety of ways of doing it tax free. So you become homeless and have income under $600 a year, and you're in a zero tax bracket. Your capital gains tax is your income tax bracket, so you're zero. It's one option, right? I jokingly say that's what I ought to do, right? The other option is if you become a billionaire or you're only making money through capital gains through business, which means you're selling stock, capital gains only, and you're not employed and you're not running a business, right? Your income tax bracket is, what is it again? It's zero. If you want to know how they get away with billionaires, not that's how they do it because they don't have a job. They sell stock, capital gains. Cool, brilliant, great guys. Bad stewardship. Not going to get into it. I've gotten into it over the couple days ago. I spent 3 hours. Was it no Monday afternoon? I spent like 3 hours just going into all sorts of stuff. All right, so there's a book out there by Genevieve Davis, and it's entitled "Becoming Rich," and she also wrote a book series about becoming magic, and not the witchcraft kind of thing, just kind of more of the she kind of pokes fun of the manifesting stuff, laws of attraction things, because it didn't work for her. But she has an incredible life story, and she presents stuff that actually is about what I would call the mind game. So anyway, for the last 2 years, I've been doing this DDTC thing for friends and family, and very selective. And I screened people, and I kind of basically did it for free. And I had two folks help us buy some resources. We spent, I don't know, just on one source, we spent almost $15,000 for a lifetime subscription to all the crypto analytics. So those resources are part of what I am probably going to be sharing with what I am doing. I can't, they're copyrighted resources, so I can't publicly share them, but I can share like, what am I buying, right? What am I accumulating and why? And I can talk about that, but we're not there yet. Most people are like losing their housing. Like we had an increase in rent here in little old Kaiser, Oregon, almost 25%. Give me that. Last year was 9%, and then a year later we got a 15%, just under whatever the maximum allowable by the state was. So 25% increase. And I'm in unionized work for the government, and they're, I'm not, my colas and aren't even keeping up with that. So we got some serious problems. So the information in this book has a money management system that I was able to deploy. I came across it. It was published shortly after I had a concussion 8 years ago. And I listened to it, and I was able to develop a money management system based on this book, that I was able to do and use, even though I had massive impairments, cognitive impairments, short memory impairments for the first, 3 years after the accident. It really messed me up. I forgot about health. I crossed the diabetes line. I gained a lot of weight, all sorts of really nasty stuff because of cognitive function. And then a year ago, I had COVID, and I have some minor cognitive issues that have kind of like remind me of that. But that process really transformed how everything. It was easy. I've never been a budgeter type of person. I've always like made more money and enjoyed the money that I had, kind of budgeting. Sometimes if you're under the gun financially, you don't even want to see where your money is coming and going, and it's normal. It's a trauma response. You're being traumatized by finances, and that never stops. I just want to let you know, you'll never be out of debt because the whole system is designed for you to always be in debt. You have to, at some time, start carving out little bits of money and learn how to put that money to work for you and how to grow it. And that's part of what DDTC is founded on, is like, I wanted to come up with a way that even a homeless person could revolutionize their finances. And I tested some stuff over the last couple of years, and I got some great results. And now teaching a whole nother thing, dealing with bots, which costs a little bit more money, right? I think the smallest starting amount for a bot you're going to need is like $50. I'd probably suggest $100. Um, but how do you do the $0 thing? I want to do that one day. I want to do that one. Well, that is high leverage trading, and you have to create an account where you have it available to you. And it's kind of complicated to do that because technically no one wants to deal with you if you're a US citizen. There's a couple places where you can still do it. And I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to give my government more clues as to what a lot of the citizens are doing that know what they're doing that don't want their rights infringed. But I'll share that information privately. How's that? If you're a Patreon subscriber type of thing. Um, and eventually, right, you're not going to have access to that if they clamp down, unless we all start fighting for our rights and freedoms to spend our money the way we want, right? Go after fraudsters, great. Let me back on Binance, right? 2016, someone got elected. Next thing I know, all U.S. citizens got kicked off from Binance. Did not do us any favors as U.S. citizens. Did not make us great. It just enslaved us to low interest rates and destroyed our opportunities. Well, the rest of the world is having a huge revolution and becoming wealthy. So anyway, don't get me started on that one. And I did a video on it, so go watch the video where I do a deep dive in your rights and how they've been infringed and what you can do about it. And it's on YouTube. And really, if you need to rewatch any of this stuff, go watch it on YouTube. If you start watching this on Twitch or Facebook or whatever, just stop it, go over to the YouTube channel and finish watching on YouTube because it helps build my hours. Please like, subscribe, because eventually when I do this on YouTube, just your watching it will generate revenue for the project. Okay. All right. Once you have a cash flow, you can start doing what's called dollar cost averaging purchases. Now, I haven't done that at a small level in a long time. I have my own process. I will trade. I can trade inside of a tax protected thing so I don't have to worry about taxes. And I'll take a percentage of profits and I'll take a look at the analytics and I'll build up portfolios behind the scenes. And it's just like a machine, a process for long-term growth. I'm going to be 59 years old. This year, I can technically retire at 59 and a half. I've got 15 months left, or is it 14 months now? 14 or 15 months left, and I complete my last vesting through a pension. No one has pensions anymore except for certain industries. And anyway, I'm planning on wrapping that up strategically and then deciding what to do. So all of my planning is to be able to go from where I am now to retirement in a very nice lifestyle anywhere in the world that I want to within that 14, 15-month period of time. Okay. And I think I'm on track to it. And but our world is crazy, right? So we keep this crazy stuff happening. But I had to realize that, wait a second, I'm never going to dig myself out of the finances. I have to figure out a way of getting money to work for me and compounding in such a way that that process will overwhelm the financial issues that I had in my life. Now, if you have a lot of financial issues in your life and you're being sued by creditors and all that, you're in that game. I posted some really good information on my website, and it's POTUDavidAuthor.com. Did I put that in here? I was going to. I can't believe I didn't put it in here. I apologize for that. Anyway, you can find me, POTUDavidAuthor.com. There's a thing in there about how to deal with creditors. There's a process there. There's always an ever growing situation. One party makes it harder and harder for the little person to deal with these scenarios, but I think the methodology there is still valid. And there's also information there with domestic violence and abuse and legal strategies and stuff. I'm not giving legal advice, but if you want training so you're not afraid of the legal system anymore and you're empowered as what's called a pro se, think of it this way. It turns you, the ignorant citizen, in a legal system of the United States that was actually designed for you to be able to use it without a lawyer. Most people don't know that. Well, this training teaches you how to become like a puffer fish or a porcupine in the legal world and you can do things that lawyers and law firms can't do. Anyways, great training. You can go there, you can get on their mailing list and get all sorts of free trip tips and stuff. If you're dealing with domestic violence and abuse, and you go buy through that link and you PM me, when I get the funds from the affiliate thing, I will send those to you and compensate you so to reduce your cost. Because I'm dedicated to help stopping domestic violence and abuse in America and empowering men or women. It's usually women from the legal abuse that's happening. Anyway, I've made postings about that for friends years ago, so I wouldn't have to keep explaining it. Just go there, read it. It should make sense. Follow the links. Anyway, just hope that makes sense. All right. So yeah, so when you start carving money out that you've already spending, or you take a part-time job, or you do the learn to earn, you start isolating, even if it's a small percentage of money, you can start buying stuff. I was like $5 a week is where I started. I don't know. Back then, that was kinda like the minimum, right? And I think it might be more now, it might be $10, whatever it was. So I got into a cadence where I just every payday or every time I had money coming in, I isolate a percentage, right, like $5 or $10, and just that 5 or $10 and then carving out the money that you're spending anyway, but you weren't really thinking about it. I started getting control of the cash flows, and then I started learning how to put the money to work. So, I mean, literally, I bought some Bitcoin. I bought some Ethereum. I bought some XRP. Right now, what would I be buying? I look at my screen here. What am I tracking? This is not recommendation here. I'm just looking. Okay. Um, do I have? What are my lists? I have a lot of lists. Um, no, I wouldn't use that. I have to clean up my lists because I've been doing so many tests of different things. So yeah, would I buy some Matic? Yeah, I would do that. Would I buy some XLM? Yeah. Would I buy some Luna C? I'd have to look at it. The reason why that's in my list is because I made out like a bandit. I mean, literally, I was watching it collapse in real time, and I had some money for speculation. I threw $15 at it inside my tax protected account, and it bounced to $18,000 of value in a matter of minutes. Best event of my life, tax free. And then kind of things bottomed out, and I think it worked out to be like $12,000 when it was all said and done. It might be 8. Anyway, I've got a bot that's scalping money. Last time I looked at the bot, which was months ago, it had scalped like $2,000 USDT using Luna C. But that was a once in a lifetime thing. I can't teach you how to repeat that. But if you're in the market and things happen and you learn what's going on over time, you'll recognize opportunities and maybe you'll be able to exploit one of those things. Everyone's waiting for their lottery win, and I hope you get it. But I hope you go through my training about are you ready to be a billionaire? I haven't released it yet, but I actually kind of went through it. Was it a Monday? This last weekend. I did a deep dive into it. PAX G, $1,900. It was $1,700 just not that long ago. That is basically a gold bat. I didn't mean to click on it. Look at that. So I'm keeping this on XRP because that's actually what I'm working with my bots. But this PAX G is gold, I believe, out of Australia, backed by the Australian government. You can buy digital gold. Kind of cool. Now, Switzerland has a better one, but because you're a US citizen, you can't buy it unless you can sneak under exchange, buy it, and transfer it to a wallet, but that's kind of complicated. But that one, you can actually fly to Switzerland and exchange your cryptocurrency for physical gold, just like you used to do with the US dollar. You used to be able to go down to the bank and exchange your dollars for actual gold or silver. We don't do that anymore, but Switzerland does. But anyway, because your rights have been infringed, your pursuit of happiness has been infringed, you can't do that as a US citizen. SHIB, would you do that? Would I buy some SHIB? I have bought SHIB. I own quite a lot of SHIB. Am I part of the SHIB army? No, it just I I just bought some. I dollar cost average it over time, and I don't know if I'm up or down in it, but it's cool. USDT, I wouldn't play with that at all right now. Store J, yeah, I've been accumulating that, and there's some other DeFi ones. But anyways, if you're just getting started, as I told my friend Peter, he was on PayPal trying to do something. I'm not going to talk about his stuff, but I said he bought some Ethereum, and he kind of like we realized that even in PayPal you couldn't transfer funds out. You have to wait because of the U.S. banking system, or the fiat banking system makes you wait 5 to 8 days. Cryptocurrency valuations you can transfer around the world for pennies, and it's instantly available. Its value. Fiat, because there's so much fraud with the fiat system, the SWIFT system, the ACH transferring system, they make you wait 5 to 8 days because of fraud and stuff. I hate it. I hate dealing with it, but I got used to it. But he ended up buying some Ethereum when it was like down, and I said, just hang on to that. I hope he listened to me. Look at what Ethereum's doing. Look at this. Ha! I love it. Go Ethereum. I hope it dips tonight. I got a bot set up to get back into Ethereum. We'll see. Oh, this is the weekly, the daily, and the hourly. So let's see where am I on my training for tonight? I know the stuff isn't the stuff I'm talking about today about finances and money isn't really that big of a deal. Okay. I already gave you a little peek at the spreadsheet, but let's go back. I'm going to keep going back, and this might be a repeat for some folks, but you know what? I think the more you see it, the more it sinks in. I remember when Diana was first learning to trade, and she'd scalp, 10 cents, 15 cents, but her percent ROI was like 6%, which was huge at the time. This was before we understood leverage or understood much of anything. Um, but let's just do a quick review, and I'll wrap up with this. So this is my bot sheet. In why bots? All right, good question. Let's talk about bots because I said I'd talk about it. Let me bring this up because this is kind of my targeting here, and this is like all wild and crazy and out of control. So let me make it more reasonable here because we're visual, right? We make decisions on visual. It's kind of hard to guess what's going to happen next in anything, but they exploit us. The people who know what they're doing exploit our visual things. Oh, the crowd's going to think this is going to happen, but no one really knows, except for insiders have access to insider information. So this is a 6 hour, 3 hour, the 1 hour, and the 30 minute. So what I noticed was, well, actually, let me show you what I noticed earlier today. Let me make this one bigger first. So this has been going on, right? This is the 12 hour. This is the daily, which is kind of out of sync with the weekly. And why is it out of sync with the weekly? Because all the banking stuff has been happening in the weeklies, right? So this charting is just we have unplanned tour events. But this is the last 3 days. So this was Sunday, Monday, today was Tuesday. Now Wednesday, right? Let me see if I can make this more visible to everybody. So somewhere around here is when I got out of one of my bots and made my next scalp. But what I'm seeing here is we have a green on the MACD, and we're way underneath, right? And we're kind of crossing over. It's kind of hugging, going sideways, right? But it's projected up. See how this is projected down? Well, this is projected up. So to me, and this is XRP, it wants to retest 40. And a week or so ago, it was at 40, trying to test 41, and it failed. See these over here? What I like about XRP is it's not related to hedge fund manager funds coming in and out. It does react to the market, right? What Bitcoin's doing. But Coinbase and everyone in the United States has delisted XRP, and XRP is a great project for cross-border commercial transactions. Saudi Arabia and other big money places are using it, and they're using it instead of the SWIFT system. They've been using it for years. It's proven technology. And XRP is suing the US government, the SEC, for their BS, and they're projected to win. But it is the government, so who knows, right? It doesn't really matter. I like the fact that it's not quite as volatile. It's volatile, right? But it's volatile within a range, and bots love things within a range. So um, I'm expecting this to just kind of either travel back down here. It can go down in here, dip down here if it want. Whoa, I didn't want that. Come back down here if it wants to, or even further, or go up and spike up here. I don't really care because while it's doing this day to day, hour to hour, my bot is scalping. All right. That's why I'm using that for a bot. I'm also kind of working with a bot with Ethereum too. I'm thinking about maybe moving that over to Bitcoin. I don't know. A volatility is really kind of cool, but I like Ethereum. I don't know. It seems to be a little bit more, I don't know, less problematic, I guess, a little bit more reliable. It all depends on what my mood is, really. If I want volatility, I'll probably go with like Bitcoin or something. And then there's SHIB and all this other sort of stuff. So when I look at, let's go back here to the hourly. I'm looking at this. This is a 30-minute. What am I seeing? I'm seeing it. See this channel? It's like, what's it doing? It's going sideways, right? And the channel is narrowing. See how this is getting narrow? I love narrowing, especially when especially when we're not narrowing with FUD, we're narrowing with we're about to launch. And even if it's a false launch, it doesn't matter to me, right? Because what'll happen, I'm expecting sometime this evening that this will kind of meander down and maybe dip, maybe down. I was predicting it might dip as low as here, but it might dip as far as here, or it might catapult down and then see how it goes. Boom, boom. I love that when that happens, when I got a bot going. So normally I would have just been patient and just set a trap for it. But I see this thing going sideways. I know there's a lot of enthusiasm in the markets. It may not do that deep thing. And I've got plenty of funds out now that I want to get the bot working. So I actually got in. I just launched it earlier today while I was at work when this doji was happening right here. And I was expecting it to like go up and it did. And then I was in profit and then it came back down. I think I'm upside down right now. But as it goes upside down, it's doing its thing. It buys, sells, buy, sell, buy, sells, buy, sell, buy, sells. It's cool. Bots are cool. And it'll do it while I'm sleeping. And I'll probably wake up and if something happens and this starts doing the candles again, like see how this like it's stalled here going sideways. See how this was going? It went green and then it stalled and went sideways. You see that, right? To me, that means people are accumulating. I know you're like, wow, what just happened, David? What was that flash? What was all that stuff? It just updated itself. And what you're seeing there, if you look, see this red line, this is called a point of control. And notice that it's at the point of control, right? So usually if this breaks down, this is kind of like on its way down, which makes sense for this time of day. It's probably going to travel down for a little bit, but after the US Open, it'll probably break up or trend back up is what I'm expecting. But, let me look at it down here. Look at blah 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 blah. But you see the overall trend here? What is it? It's up. This is the hourly going back to when the 12th, Sunday, 9 a.m. So was it, I think this might have been before the big announcements, right? See, this was the bank failure, right? News. It had absolutely nothing to do with XRP. And then this, it hit a low, right? And then the good news happened. The bank's going to be bailed out and this shit just repeats. You get used to seeing and feeling the market cycles and you never know what's going to happen next. So what's cool about bots is if you're in the range, you're just making money. And sometimes your bot is maybe stuck down here for a while. Like I just had a bot that was stuck down upside down for like 21 days. Yeah. And then it wasn't. And all said and done, I think it made like $380 after fees net. That was a 7 point something something return in 21 days. Not exciting, not wealth producing levels of return, but it, that particular project now has almost an extra $400 in it. So it's nothing to sneeze at. I don't think it's nothing to sneeze at. And that's a bot that I started 21 days ago, and I haven't done anything with it other than just waiting for the market to recover and retest, and it did. So I'm excited to do stuff like that. Now, having said that, let me show you the current project that I'm excited about, especially for someone's getting started, because high leverage trading is probably my son Matthew came over to do it, and he learned how to do it. He was scalping 15% initially right out of the blocks. His first trade was like 15, 20% ROI. And we had spent 3 or 4 days together. Man, this thing does it. It washes me out. There we go. Start glowing with the white beard. All right, so this is just a tool, and my goal is to make 2% what I call per cycle. And then here are real cycles that began on Valentine's Day because I want to retire my sweetheart, or I wanted to retire us together. And let me shrink this up because it'll be less reflected light. All right. So I think this exited on the 12th, and I haven't been out in 2 days because the news, the recovery, the markets are going wild. And I was just happy to be out, take a deep breath, assess my numbers, decide what my next plan was. And I launched the bot today, 2 days later. But I've been averaging. So I've been in things for like what, 4 days. I added the hours, by the way. For those who caught the other one where I didn't have hours listed, well, here I have hours. 4 days, 98 hours. So anyway. So it's okay. I ideally want to get to a point where I'm launching the bot before I go to bed at night, and I'm ending it the next day, redoing it, and just do it cycle this daily and getting an average of 2% or better. And right now my average is 2.28% per day. But this is compounding. Okay. Now, mission one, you hear me talk about this all of the time. You'll hear me talk about mission one all the time. Okay. And if you have no information to work with, right? You just kind of have to guess, right? But once you start having information, you can put that information in. Like, so this particular bot thing that I'm working on is a mission one, start with $250. And so far, I've been averaging 2.28% per day is the average. Now, that's not compounding per day. It's just, I get it. For those of you that want to do regression analysis, someday I'll build regression analysis into this. I'm just not there. But my reality is I start with 250. This account now has $393.67 available to trade. I'm $106.33 away from completing mission one. And, life happens. Maybe I missed something. Like there was a bot, I missed an entry because I misread the last 2 digits because I didn't put my reading glasses on, which I don't even have available right now. And so, it slowed it down. And then I was a little greedy on a couple days. I lost like a 1% more gain. It's about $7 or $8 type of thing. So whatever reality is for you or for me is going to be what it's going to be. Okay. So I have a spreadsheet here, right, where you can explore what's possible. And right now, let's just take a look. I started on the 14th. About when should I complete mission one if I can continue this cadence? About 30 days. A couple days ago, this was telling me it was about 36 days. I'm thinking it's going to probably take me about 36 days. I suspect that's what it's going to be. And we'll know. And if you're tuned into the channel, please do it on YouTube. You'll know because I will share it. I'll probably say, hey, mission one. Okay, let's look at the next step. We'll be digging into it. But right now, we're just guessing. Okay. But it's going to happen. How do I know it's going to happen? Because I have done this many, many, many times over the last 2 years. Mission ones. In fact, if I go from Ethereum to trading Bitcoin, the first thing I do is I do a mission one, switching back to Bitcoin. Or if I go to a different asset, I do a mission one when I'm doing high leverage trading. It usually takes me a week or less to complete a mission one, meaning I've doubled my money. That's what missions mean, right? Which is what this is about, right? So mission one, right? I mean, I lived in here 36 days. I'll whatever the real number is, I'll update it. And you know what the truth is? The reality is I will get better the more I do, more missions I complete. Okay. So you get better. This is assuming you don't get any better. Okay. And this is just guesstimating. See, it says guesstimate, right? The purpose of this is for you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the purpose of this. So I should be completing mission one if I can keep the same cadence, somewhere around March 22nd. If it's 40 days, I can just, 40 days, not a big deal. March 26th. Whatever reality and the truth is. That's what's important. And from there, if I can keep that cycling going, if the next mission is $500 to $1,000. So what is the difference between the mission one and mission two? You're doing the same thing, doing the exact same decision-making process in the exact same markets. The markets are variable, right? So you have good days and bad days, but whatever happens, you're working a process, but it's the same process you did for mission one, for mission two. But instead of starting with $250, you're starting with $500. So guess what happens? If you make the same type of decisions, making the same decision-making ideology, right? And, you just adapt to the market, which bots do. Now, if you're not using a bot, you have to adapt. That's a lot of burden on you for you. The only thing with a bot is you have to adapt to a trading range. If you're doing the trading yourself, you have to figure out where's a good entry and where's a good exit. Bots is way simpler than that. Whatever the timeline is, it is. So I did a Homeless David mission one. It took me 59 days to complete at 3x leverage. I'm doing 5x leverage in the bot. Back then, bots didn't have leverage available to them. But let's just say 60 days. Our worst case scenario, April 15th. All right. Whatever it is, it is. Okay. So if I do this worst case scenario, 60 days to complete a mission, I'll cross the $1 million mark roughly February 2025. Was that 2 years from now? Yeah. 24 months or less. Assuming that takes me 60 days as a cycle. Right now, I'm currently on track, which has me crossing over a year from now, a little bit less than a year from now, 11 months from now. Kind of cool, right? And this is hobby. This is not me sitting around watching things all day long. This is me making a decision every night about this time of night or before I go to bed. Actually, I made the decision. Okay, so to be honest with you guys, I know you're not supposed to trust anyone says to be honest with you guys, it's just a figure of speech. I was kind of at work around 9 o'clock when most people go to bed. I wanted to see if I could complete a cycle making the decisions around when most people would be going to bed. Because I go to bed around 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And in some ways that gives me an edge because the markets dip between 4 and 7 when a lot of shit happens when the US market opens and closes every morning. And I get a pretty good feel for what that might be by the time I go to bed. But I want to try out making that decisions for like when you guys go to bed. I mean, seriously, it'd probably be worth like just waking up and doing your potty break at 2 in the morning and double checking type of thing. But what I did is I started a bot because the daily, as I mentioned, it looks like it's going to retest the 3870, maybe retest 40. And sometimes you see those wild spikes. Well, I have an exit set up. So if it spikes up wildly, even if it's just for like a few seconds, I'm out. And it's all automated. And the bot is selling, buying, selling, no matter how fast it is, boom, it's an automated bot. I love that stuff. I love it when the market does a double down spike, my bots love that stuff. Just, I mean, literally eat it up. So there we go. Yeah, yeah, and that, this is just an estimate, and then what happens is as you complete your mission, rather than having an estimate, you put your real data in here, right? And probably gonna spend 36 days. I don't know what it's gonna be, right? It's well, I wasn't supposed to do that because this auto calculates. One of the things I have to do is protect these so you don't accidentally write over them like I just did without some kind of warning. This will be available soon. Um, so I'm working on that. So it's kind of cool. Missions. Yeah. It's just, yeah. People say, well, what are you afraid about liquidation, David? 5x leverage, that's, yeah, it would have to go down to like 26 cents. And last time it was that low was a year ago, January. I don't lose any sleep over that. And, the truth is, if it starts doing that, right, I actually have reserve funds to back it up if I need to go into survival mode. And there's a methodology that I've developed so that, getting liquidated is a choice for me. So sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where it just makes sense, just let it go, kill it and start over. But that's a financial empowerment move, right? And that is beyond the scope of this little bit of training. But yeah, if I were to do that, I would just probably throw $500 buffer at it and then just let it ride it out and then restart and then just recalculate and, carry on because there's a lot of corruption in our world. We have government taking away our rights. We got corrupt government things going on behind the scenes. It's a manipulated market because it's still small. It's around $1 trillion market. It's not a $17 trillion type of market like the stock market. None of that stuff, right? It's still very easy to manipulate, and people do, right? When the things were dipping because of the bank, guess who was buying? Big money was buying. Of course, the news report about big money buying didn't come out until a day after, you know, the government said that, hey, we're going to bail us out. I would not be stunned if they said, hey, let this happen. You're going to bail it up, but don't announce it because the market's going to dip and we're going to buy like crazy. Our hedge funds are going to buy like crazy out during the dip. And so in 2 days, they had a 28% gain. That's just the way it is. That's reality. We can argue about it, we can be mad about it, or we can learn how to play with it and participate in it. So that's kind of what I'm here to do. I want to empower good people like you to become wealthy and train you on the ideas and concepts of looking at the world not through scarcity, not through fear, but through abundance, right? And then having the chops, the knowledge, the experience, not that you're tied to me, say, oh, David said buy this. No, no, I didn't tell you to buy anything. I'm going to empower you to be able to make those decisions. You can follow me along, right? And you can see what I'm doing and learn from that. And you're going to develop your own style. In fact, I had a friend find something who basically knows nothing about cryptocurrencies yet. And he found something that was an interesting project. And I threw a couple $100 at it. And yeah, it's doubled its money so far. But it has a liquidity problem. It's a project that's probably not going to make it. But I like the idea. And I have a budget for speculation. I didn't have a budget for speculation when I got started. How did I get there? How I got there, I spent this entire training telling you kind of how I got there and what I wish I would have known. I would have gotten here faster. Is my life perfect right now? No, it is not perfect yet right now. Right? I'm still dealing with stuff. I had to pull money out of my budget to accommodate cost of living increases, including my rent. And I didn't like doing that because now I'm having to make decisions about money, and I'm retooling one of my bots to compensate for that, and I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it because I'm gonna be pulling money out, which is profits, and that is gonna be taxed at my tax rate for which I'm working, and I'm in a pretty high tax rate because because I've got a pretty good job and career going on. So that sucks. That just sucks. But it is what it is, right? What I can tell you is if I would have not started playing that game and not started pulling $5 here, a dollar there. I mean, I remember some of these transactions, 50 cents here and there. It's almost ridiculous and comical, but I didn't have any other choice, right? I couldn't just say, "Oh, I'm just going to put this percentage away." And I wish I could have done it that way, but I didn't. I had to just, I figured it out through doing it. And then I got my foot in the door, and then I had some little wins, and then it grew. And I didn't know how to trade back then. Learning how to trade, complicated story. So I kind of did some trading way back after Y2K, right? And I like doubled my money 7 times in a row. It was really cool. I only needed another 6 times, and I would have been done. And then the markets crashed, and it turns out I didn't know what I was doing. During COVID, I I revisited that, spent some money, like $1,500 on some training. And while I was going through training, I realized that there was a better way, but it didn't matter. I just honored it. I had a $1,200 budget for my training budget, which got wiped out because I didn't understand one little thing. And that little thing was like about $20, cost me $1,200. Very hard lesson. And that made me realize that I fully didn't understand either what I was being taught, or I created my own processes from there. Now, that was, we call that the Thanksgiving disaster. That was 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. So January, or was it 2020? No, it was 2020. Yeah. Yeah, it was 2020 that this happened. And then 2021 on January 10th, Diane and I ran some numbers. I was blown away at what we had accomplished in just a couple months. Like, I couldn't even tell you what the ROA was. Let me tell you, it was so crazy. I stopped trading and spent 8 months figuring out how to trade inside of a totally legal, not gray area, not anything, totally legal, IRS compliant retirement process that would allow me to do what I know how to do without ever having to pay taxes, either now or in the future retirement. And it took me 8 months to research it, and I had to validate it, and I had to, review the custodian, all that stuff cost me like $1,200 to set it up. And it's like, $500, $600 a year to maintain it. And I learned how to do that. And that's information that I'm bringing to DDTC. Not everyone, there's only one person I know, maybe two, that have set that up for themselves, right? But you need to be in a different financial status because you can only make like $6,000. I forget. I think they changed it. Anyway, there's a limited amount of money you can contribute per year. I only need $5, which is kind of funny. So, but anyway, to be a qualified investor in cryptocurrency to get on Binance, you have to have $10 million. Qualified investor status in the stock market's only like $1 million of assets plus $250,000 a year income. To go into Binance, the big Binance, right? You literally have to be a hedge fund kind of person, and I think that's wrong. You should be able to have access. You should not be discriminated against based on your financial status. And so you should fight for that. You should write in and all that sort of stuff. All right, this is all I got for tonight. I don't think anyone has watched this tonight, but that's all right. I did this training. This training is available at any time if it makes sense to somebody. And I'll wrap this up with a couple of my little videos. Oh, and I'm going to end it. I found Diana's video. She's my partner, and she's the health part of Wealth and Health, right? She's the health piece of this. And I'm going to show what her and her sister accomplished in a little 1-minute video, which I'll play here in a second. But first, affirmations. So let's just get rid of this thing here. So those affirmations are things that I use myself, developed over the last 2 years, depending on what's going on. So like if I'm trading and I'm starting mission one, test, like a homeless person test, and I'm starting with $5 to trade to $10, that's mission one, you're scalping 30 cents, right? Well, the mantra is profit is profit. Anyway, it's kind of cool. When you fall in love with your percentage of return versus the actual dollar amount, before you know it, you are trading hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, or tens of thousands of dollars or more. It's crazy. But what's cool about my approach to it is if you do it the way I'm suggesting you to do it, even if you're a millionaire, right? Start with $5. I tell everyone, listen, I don't care how much money you got available. Let me teach you how to complete a mission one with $5. It'll transform your life. Okay. As long as you have access to do it. You will learn so much completing a mission one. It's stunning. In fact, you should do 3 mission ones now. Do the bot mission one, which is probably going to cost you $50. I'd recommend starting with 250, but if you can't afford it, you can't afford it, right? You got to do what you got to do, right? Then there's the slow homeless David mission one. It has specific rules. No more than 3x leverage. Probably going to take you about 60 days to do that one. And then there's the what I call beast mode, homeless David 2.0. Um, Start with free if you want to go try that route, or $5 or throw $50 at. But anyway, you don't have to do them linearly like I've done or doing. I think you can benefit from doing them all at the same time as a hobby, as a hobby. And you will learn so much. You'll make better decisions than most of the hedge fund managers I'm seeing have making their decisions out there. They get liquidated. I'm just like, why would you guys do that? They're greedy. They haven't conquered greed. They're just because they have access to hundreds of millions or billions of dollars doesn't mean they're very good at things. I mean, they make their millions of dollars a year off their commissions because they just got a couple percentage off $1 billion portfolio stuff. That's not knowing what you're doing. And then they're still getting liquidated, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars lost. I'm like, really, guys? You guys should hire me to come in and train you how to do the basics. And I'd put them all on $5. Complete mission one. Don't even touch your $1 billion client portfolio till we get you to mission 10, starting with 0. If you can't do that, you're unqualified in my book. I don't care what your degree is. I don't care any of that stuff. And I'm speaking from somebody who, well, I should probably brag. I'll brag. Why not? I earned it. I deserve to brag because no one knows who I am, and it's probably better that way, right? I'm the crypto Warren Buffett, according to my. Oh, you can't see it, can you? I got to turn it back on. Yeah, my volume. Okay, so to give you the context, this is my report card. I get one of these. I've gotten this like I think they started this like 2 years ago. For 2 years in a row, I think my averages are a little bit better by like point 0.1 or something. I think it was like point 0.4. I'll have to look. But anyway, it's the exchange has 20 million users from 200 countries. And my trading volume was more than 99.52%. So only 0.48% for trading volume. The trading volume because it would freak you out. And I'm just showing you my 91.35% of that was actual futures trading, and almost all of that was 100x stuff. Yeah. If I were to show you, Dinah's still doing that right now. She's my partner. And if you were to see her trades, just, oh, I made $3, I made $30, I made $20, whatever. It's all green. There's no red in her trading log. No liquidations. They tell you, if anyone tells you you can trade futures at any kind of leverage without any liquidations, they're lying to you. We did it. I don't need to prove it to you. You need to prove it to yourself. I can show you how and why that's possible. Although I will also tell you there are strategic reasons why you should probably um, uh, take losses. And I've done it. I've started taking strategic losses last year because you can make more money not waiting for the market to return and just cut your losses and just getting back on to doing what you know how to do. But that's financial empowerment. It requires confidence and all sorts of cool stuff. And all I need to do is $5 in freedom. And I've got the $5 and they're trying to take away my freedom and your freedom. Oh, look at this. It's turning around a little bit on the 5 minute. Ha ha ha. Where's it at? Oh yeah, I'm upside down for a while in one of the bots. All right, so I'm going to show you Diana's thing. So first I'm going to show you her cute little thing, a bobber. So maybe that was when we were younger, that was her and I. No, she would never do that. She's too nice. She thinks I'm funny that I create these videos that sometimes reflect her in a light that really isn't reflective of her personality. Now, this, however, that what I'm about to show you, this video is mind blowing. And then I'll have wrap up comments. Stop. So that is not showing properly. So I should have tested that. All these little things just trying to drive me crazy. That was annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it for you, and I should be able to loop the sound back, but you'll be able to see the presentation. This is actually pinned on her Facebook page. All right, can I make this any bigger? Because it's really something that's impressive that her and her sister did. So let me turn this on. All right, what's going to happen? Let's see. We've got this captions at the bottom. I need to keep that going for legal reasons. So let's. All right, All right. So I'm going to play this and hopefully the sound's going to work. This is her story, and she's on maintenance and she is just kicking it. And she had no interest in the program at all. I'm a type 2 diabetic. I needed to do something to lose weight. I've lost like 30 pounds, but my transformation story is taking longer for reasons I'll talk about another time. But this is impressive. All right. I love this music. All right. So yeah, this is my goddess. This is the woman that I have chosen, and we've been together 6 going on 7 years now, and this is very real. This is let me see if it'll let me control this a little bit, and I'll give some commentary. I took this picture. We visited the family a year or so ago. And I did not take those pictures. She took those pictures, but yeah, I took most of these pictures here that you're seeing. Oh, she's so adorable. But, when you live with someone, you don't realize, what's happening. And then when she went on vacation during the holidays with her family. Her mom's older and stuff like that in Michigan. She came back with pictures, and this is December 25th, 2022. I mean, look at this. This is them. This is them. This is them. This is them. It's insane. And yeah. All right. Yeah, and I love this one too. I forgot to let it go here. Let's go back. Just love that sound. Okay. So I like this because what you see is this is technology here. This is so this what she's doing doesn't require working out. A lot of folks don't know that, but we work out in VR. Behind me, that's our VR space. We protect it, right? We can game, hunt zombies, shoot zombies, work in supernatural. But this is the Meta 2 was actually an Oculus 2 at the time we purchased it, and bought one for her mom who's in her 70s. Because she doesn't move around so much and things, and it's just a really cool thing for anyone that's infirmed or anything like that. But, this is a extra power thing, and these are external sounds, so you have, the sound on these things are good anyway, but, you know, she deserves everything, right? So, that's what that's about. So, I love this video, and, it's kinda cute because some of those looks and things were like, I just found them and just like, all right. I very seldom ever see her have that kind of an attitude, right? But between the music and just the look, it was just, I don't know. I just was pretty excited about that. It was a lot of fun making that. And then Facebook wouldn't let me use it for marketing purposes. And then I have before and after pictures marketed to me all the time. I'm like, how did you guys able to publish your ad? And I couldn't run this true story. Anyway, kind of, you just have to do what you have to do. But what is that about? And why am I just advertising for and stuff like that? Well, of course I am. But it's not about that. She works full time. She's actually on the same vesting schedule that I am. She works for the school district kind of thing. Actually, she just changed jobs. But anyway, whatever it is, she has the whole pension thing going on too. So it's strategic for us to wrap things up in 14, 15 months. And if we want to continue working, we will. We're undecided, but we're thinking about maybe relocating to Michigan to be closer to family out there. So we were looking for something that we could do together to have fun and do during retirement. So why do I say wealth and health? Well, a couple things. So if you don't have your health, what good is wealth? Quality of life thing. And the reason why I've already started a series. I did a whole class on relationships, and there's some data out there on the YouTube channel. And I got it broken up into different things specifically to addressing relationship stuff. And I'm going to be doing a deep dive, and I'm going to be creating a course on this because it's a big deal. It's one of Napoleon Hill's biggest thing. Only for him, it was all about men, if a man doesn't choose the right wife, it's one of the top reasons why a man will fail, right? I can attest to that personally, but in our modern culture, relationships impact the success of a man or a woman, career women, business women, whatever. And, I've concluded that like less than one half of 1% of people actually have quality relationships if happiness is the measure. We already have the data that we used to have like a 52% success rate when I first got married when I was 19 years old. One religious belief system could make claim to that. And we were in it. We ended up being part of the 48%. Right now, the data is 52% of everything, first time marriages, regardless of anything, fail across the board. And I mean, that's just marriage and divorce. A lot of folks aren't even getting married. And, we don't know how to do relationships, and there's reasons for it. And I believe I've figured some stuff out. I've had a lot of relationships in my life. I'd been in domestic violence situations where I was the one being mentally, emotionally manipulated. Um, I remember one person driving across town and to hit me. And it's just like I didn't hit them back. I should have stopped, but, it didn't turn into a physically violent thing, but she was trying to get me to be this physically violent. And I mean, there's just all this stuff from a man's perspective, woman's perspective, and, there's pretty predators out there. There's just manipulators out there, and the predators and the abusers and the DV people, they're usually victims of some kind of childhood domestic violence or abuse themselves, which is why they begin questing power. So this isn't about beating up on abusers. In fact, I knew a wealthy predator abuser person, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. And he was a smart man. He was actually a good man. I never got his full story. He never quite trusted me. But what he did do is he alienated his family. He destroyed lives and happiness. And he created a mess for a lot of people. And it was his own fear and scarcity. But I didn't hate the dude, and it was just really it just was sad, but I learned a lot through that tour of duty is what I refer to that part of my life. But having said that, the last 6 years of my life with Diana have been amazing, and there was a proof of context that was happening, and I deployed a process that worked, and it kinda fits in with the whole manifesting law of attraction kind of principles of what played out. So anyway, I'm kind of teaching it. And if someone has a bad relationship or a bad marriage or in a bad situation, I believe I've created processes that can help recreate that relationship moving forward into the relationship of both of your dreams. That's what's on the table. And if it's done and it's going to be a divorce and things are, or just a breakup, especially if there's children involved and there's going to be an ending, before you lawyer up, we should probably have a conversation or hire me as a life coach consultant. And I might be able to give you some ideas that could save you hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and a shitload of pain and suffering, especially for your children, to help you stay out of the 4.5, 4.8, $5.2 billion a year industry that uses your children as a weapon to milk you for profits through their pain and suffering. Just is what it is. So I've learned a lot over the years, and that's what when you see this POTU DDTC logo, what this is, and I may not keep this one, right? I mean, there it is. This one's kind of makes a little bit more sense. This one is a little bit too simplistic. I like the design, but I have to explain it. But give me something to talk about. This one I really, really like, but I don't like the red. And I got to figure out another color for it. But whatever. POTU stands for Path of the Unlimited. What does that mean? That means whatever your current beliefs are, what you know, the way you were born and raised, and a lot of folks are attached to those things, that's fine. Unlimited means that I can probably speak to you through the lens for which you have been born and raised and see life, and maybe give you some ideas within your belief systems or whatever that is, including if you're an atheist or whatever. And I'm not dissing anybody here. I can probably speak your language and help you understand some things you already know better in terms of applying it to your life. DDTC, what those initials stand for, is a private insider joke that has to deal with magic mushrooms, and I share that story privately. It is hilarious. But I live in Oregon, all right? So, but that mission is about teaching financial empowerment. My theory is if I can teach enough people or create an organization of independently wealthy people under a different model, not a guru-y model, right? But a model that has like some core foundational principles. The organization's purpose is not to make money off from its members, but to empower its members to not need to make money through jobs or whatever. And then the organization becomes a trained organization to teach financial empowerment, to teach the principles of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to anyone who wants to learn it anywhere in the world where they have the freedom to exercise life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It's based on the golden rule, which everybody has one way or the other. Every belief system understands this going back to the last epoch and before. If you don't know what what is, I'm just going to leave it there. I believe in something that I call universal human sentient and civil rights, or human sentient civil rights. There's a lot of different ways of saying it. It's kind of what the US Constitution, all men have certain unalienable rights granted to them by the creator. It didn't say US citizens have certain unalienable rights. I have to correct people. It's like say they've forgotten what the preamble really is. When then some people say, well, it's men, just like, you know what, take your chauvinistic self, check it at the door. Freedom, equality is a thing, and it's a good thing. Okay. It doesn't mean we don't have individual strengths or weaknesses based on our gender. I don't really care how someone identifies. I don't care what their preferences are. That's called freedom to pursue happiness. If tomorrow I want to wear a dress and that brings me happiness, that's my business. And I should have the right to do it as a free, sentient being. I'm not hurting, robbing, stealing anybody. And if you don't want to look at it when I'm walking down the street wearing a dress, don't look. I mean, really. Stop being petty, America, or other places, right? Do I wear dresses? No, I really don't. I did do me and a fellow burly man wore dresses to a bachelor's party because we weren't going to bring girls and dancing girls, so we wore dresses. It was funny. It was a joke, and anyway, I think we're taking this stuff way too seriously, in my opinion. All right. So, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. So we need to not infringe on other people's stuff, provided that when they're exercising their freedoms, they're not threatening, infringing, or harming on other person's freedoms. What does that look like? You break into my house, you're threatening my life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. At that moment is when you lose the right to defend myself. I have the right to protect my family. I have the right to protect my property. No one in the world really argues that except for one of my streams is having connection issues. That's okay. I'm wrapping up. Seems to have been restored. No one seems to argue about that other than people breaking down your door saying we're the law and we have the right to do a no knock warrant, which I think is wrong. It violates our rights. I don't know how they got the rights so that we have technology and tactics. We don't need it. Anyway, those are really hot topics, but seriously, you have the right to protect yourself. But that's what I'm talking about, right? The person that violates the sanctity of another person's freedom is the person that has got the problem. And we're supposed to protect that. We're supposed to respect that, right? And I know we got the whole, but also for the public good, the commonwealth, blah, 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 blah. What does that look like? I like to use, so when we use kind of like real life common day examples, people don't get it today because of information fraud. But if I go to extreme examples, people will understand the principle. So POTU teaches principles, and I will use extreme examples to help you understand the principle that you already agree with, but maybe you never thought about that way. Your neighbor does not have the right to build a nuclear weapon and detonate it and wipe out an entire region. Does not have the freedom to do that. It's a threat to the Commonwealth. So the personal rights, and I heard some idiots argue the fact that they should have the right. It's their Second Amendment right. And I guess theoretically, based on the verbiage, they have a point. But no one in their right mind would ever allow that to happen. We don't even want someone that's elected to just be the only person deciding to press a button. There needs to be a process to protect the world because we can actually literally destroy ourselves, right? I know a lot of folks want that, right? Because, someone's going to come back and save us all. I would propose to you that determinism, that's the word for prophecy. Prophecy is determinism, isn't what that was all about. I think some very smart people way back in the day figured out that if this narcissistic sociopathic leadership model did not stop, we would eventually destroy ourselves. And it was a warning to stop doing that shit. wasn't a prophecy. But you can make money and convince people to do stuff with determinism and fear and manipulation. It's my opinion, and I'm going to teach that opinion. You don't have to agree with it, and it doesn't really matter. I'll tell you, though, if you're looking at everything through the lens of fear and scarcity, you're never going to be successful, in my opinion, in much of anything. And if you do become successful, you're not going to be happy, and you're not going to have good relationships. I see all the billionaires except for one, like Branson, that just has horrible relationships, and they make decisions that aren't making our world a better place. And I've run the numbers. I did a deep dive over the weekend about the billionaire things. Like, what is $1 billion, $2 billion? Showed you that's one of the spreadsheets I'm making available. You can look at it. And I'm teaching stewardship as part of this because we need a new class of billionaires. We need to retrain our current billionaires, our people who have hundreds of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. We need to teach them about stewardship. And they actually don't have to be afraid of the little people. They could actually start, they can continue having the life of their dreams. They can continue to have some tax advantages, pay taxes, but they don't have to be afraid of putting their money to work to make the world a better place. And I'm going to be teaching that to everybody. And if they don't want to listen, that's fine, because there's going to be a new, more powerful group of wealthy people coming out of the DDTC training. That's kind of my lifelong mission. That's what I'm going to be doing in my retirement. That's the moment I reach the like 33,333 Patreon subscribers, I'm switching gears. I'm going to work on that mission and getting it done. The moment I win the lottery or the moment I complete mission 20 on any number of my missions I'm working on, same thing. I'm not relying on any one of these things. The mission is the same. I've got multiple things going on to accomplish the mission because I can. It's my way of having purpose. And I'll talk about that too. You need to have a purpose. I shared this story about a lady. I went to her wake. I never met her. And she spent her retirement going to a local coffee shop up in Seattle and was just available to give advice and counsel to people. She was revered and loved by her community. I don't think she was super, super wealthy, but she had a purpose. And I was really honored to be a part of her life remembrance and to hear that story. And I can't tell you, I remember the lemon bars too. And there's one person in my watches who knows about the lemon bars. Oh my God, I couldn't stop eating them. It was horrible. It was crazy, but I'll never forget it. So I talk about it from time to time because I think it's a cool story. All right, that's it, everybody. If you need to rewatch this, rewatch it on YouTube. That would be a favor you could do for me. And like, subscribe. Go subscribe to the YouTube thing, and then consider the Patreon thing. We already got one Patreon member, so we've already broke the ice. All right. Shout out to Cindy and Susan, the DDTC unofficial founders that really step forward and says, yeah, let's see what we can do. And we've been doing stuff. So we're taking it to the next level now. All right, everybody, have a great evening. David out. I'll try to do another stream tomorrow before work. See how the market in the morning went. And an hour and a half. Well, I'm long-winded, so it is what it is. Everyone have a great night.